Alright, guys. My name is Brandon, and welcome to the Pod of Repair. My co host is Dean. Dean, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Dean.
And this month, we are doing a set of podcasts which is going to be about Feel Good February. So, there's going to be a few different topics that we're going to discuss, certain issues that affect all of us. And to start us off, we're going to talk about body image. We're going to talk about things like diet and exercise. For context, I am quite tall but very skinny. I don't look very muscular. Whereas Dean is of average height and is quite stocky in comparison.
Yeah,
So, Dean, to start us off, we'll start with exercise because I think that's a lot easier to talk about compared to diet because obviously people need certain nutritions and different balances. I know that you got an exercise bike recently. What's your experience been with that, and how's that affected your moods and stuff like that?
honestly, on the days when I do them and when I have it at a certain, like roughly at a certain time, I actually feel quite good mentally. I mean, physically, like 45 minutes on a bike does a number on your gluteus maximus, but no pain, no gain, yeah.
Yeah, but that's quite nice because you know if you're saying that you feel good mentally after, obviously if you do exercise, if you're doing exercise properly, you're gonna feel rough the next day. You're gonna
Oh
feel
yeah,
rough afterwards. Like if you do legs, you're gonna feel like you're walking with lead legs. Like
I
you,
am stiff, yeah,
yeah. But it's good that you're getting the nice mental aspect of that, where you're doing it and you just feel good. Like it makes you feel good. Like that's the dopamine kicking in, or is it?
yeah,
It is
and
dopamine,
like
isn't it?
dopamine, serotonin, it's one of those two.
Yeah, it is a hormone.
And like during to help me focus or at least not think about how much my legs hurt and whatnot, I usually watch like a YouTube video that is roughly around the time I need it to be on the bike, which also helps.
Yeah, I think with like the exercise bike or when you're on a treadmill or like on a cross trainer, I think with those that's definitely like you watch a YouTube video, you listen to a podcast, you kind of you chill out, you just don't let your mind think about what you're doing, you just repeat, 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 repeat.
Yeah,
I do want to stress to anyone that does any form of like weight based exercise that you do want to try and keep your focus a bit. Like, yes, you can get into the zone and you can just do it without thinking about it. But if you're dealing
yeah.
with weight, especially heavy weights, please be careful.
We're
Uh,
not all Dwayne Johnson after all.
we are not all Dwayne Johnson after all. I think the hard thing for me is I don't have machines, I don't have any real weights. So a lot of my exercises recently have been using resistance bands or have been just body weight exercises, which
Although bodyweight exercises are some of the best because like you don't need to have anything for them and they work just as well as with
well,
machines.
yeah, I mean, I will argue that getting up and doing 20 burpees genuinely hurts me. Like, it hurts me mentally and physically because burpees are literally sent by Satan to punish us.
I mean, there's that and planks.
Oh, don't start me on planks. I feel my will to live dropping as I do a plank, which is also going to lead us into one of our later podcasts at this point.
Hey,
But I think what I found recently is my new favorite exercise to do is shadow boxing, which the first time you do shadow boxing, I did it for about 20 minutes. I followed a YouTube tutorial on how to do shadow boxing. And I remember I did this exercise thinking, this is so stupid. This is never going to help. Why am I doing this? And I did it just for, people said it's quite good for fitness. And I can't do any running or anything like that because I've got issues with the ligament in my knee. So I was like, I'm game for something to kind of boost my stamina, boost my fitness that way. Let's try it. For anyone who has looked at shadow boxing and thinks, uh, that's gonna suck, that's not gonna be an exercise, I have never been more sore in muscles I didn't know I had than the day after I did my first shadow boxing. Because when you're doing any form of boxing, you're twisting, you have to try and turn your body in different ways to try and get all that power out. If you're throwing a jab, you're trying to put power behind it. If you're throwing a hook, you're trying to get power behind it. So whenever you're twisting your body, twist into these punches, you're stretching muscles that you normally aren't stretching. Muscles in your shoulder, or muscles in your torso, or muscles, in your thighs that you're maybe not actually normally using all that much. You're
so lots of good stuff in the core and things too.
yeah, because you have to kind of you're not kneeling, but like you're kind of crouched a bit, and you're like bouncing on on your the balls of your
Yeah,
feet, and you're moving, you're dodge and weave. There is that quote, sting like a butterfly and float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. It helps
the
that you
one.
remember the quote correctly, and it is very true. Like I've never really seen boxing as a very good exercise. I just thought it was something that knuckleheads do to try and knock some sense into one another to see who could be the prettiest after it's all finished. But see, doing the exercise out of it, it's really making me consider, maybe doing boxercise when I have people who can do it with, potentially even doing some form of boxing just as a decent stress relief, because if you punch something, it's got to be decent stress relief,
Yeah,
but also it's got to be fun. You're gonna have fun doing it, and as long as you don't have any issues of getting punched in the face, boxing's quite fun. Um, Go along with exercise. Unfortunately, it is that awful thing that people hear, which is diet. And I think a lot of people associate diet with you have to eat tons of vegetables, you can't eat anything that you find fun, you can't eat, your cheeses, and you can't have your sauces. And I think that's a lot of shite. Like, yes, if you are trying to lose weight, if you cut down on the amount of cheese you're eating, or you cut down the amount of carbs you're having, you cut down the amount of, meat or sweets that you're having, you are going to lose weight. That is just God given fact. If you're doing
yeah,
just diet and you're not doing exercise, that's how you need to lose weight. You need to get your calories down. And all of those things I've just mentioned are quite high in calories. But just because if you're dieting and you exercise, and as long as you're getting the things you need, you can eat virtually anything you want. I eat pasta
yeah.
dishes with cheesy sauces. And when I say cheesy sauces, I don't mean like I get an entire block of cheese and I melt it in, but there's enough cheese in it where I'm going, okay, yeah, I can taste the cheese. This is nice. It's decent calorie count. It's not going to raise my cholesterol up, tenfold. You can
Yeah.
have your bacons, you can have your red meat, you can have your chickens, you can have, if you really want to, you can have a big dirty kebab. But it's all about making sure that you have things in the right amount.
Yeah, everything in moderation kind of thing is what
Yeah,
they say.
like if you want to go on a night out and drink 10 pints and have a big dirty kebab and a pizza at the end of the night out, that's okay. You're allowed to do that. You can't do that every night.
No.
Your body will tell you enough is enough if you do that every night.
And
But,
so will your bank account.
well, yes, so will your bank account. But you could physically do that once a week if you're combining that lifestyle with some exercise where you can make sure your calorie output is higher than your calorie intake. You're going to lose weight. Or if you're trying to gain weight, obviously you just need to make sure that your calorie input is higher than your calorie output. You don't want to be in a calorie deficit if you're trying to gain weight, because obviously
Yeah.
we do talk about diet and exercise, and a lot of people do assume like, oh, you're dieting or you're exercising, you want to lose weight. I'm currently dieting and I'm currently doing a lot of exercise because I want to gain weight. So I have a high protein, high carb diet. Obviously, I could fill myself up with fat. I could have, big fucking tubs of ice cream. I could
God.
have massive amounts of like sugary drinks. I could go and just destroy share packs of crisps and, whatever else just to fluff that number up. And I will admit, I'll have something sweet every day to kind of help bolster that. A slice of cake. I'll have maybe a bar of chocolate or, a bag of crisps or both. I mean, so far today I've had a cream egg and I've had a bag of crisps. Not
Nice.
exactly the epitome of health, but you don't have to be. We're not, you know, supermodels or super athletes who are trying our best to get to this pinnacle. If you're a normal everyday person, you could be exercising so that, you want to fit into a certain pair of trousers. Go for it.
Yeah.
You knock that out. You want to be able to go down a dress size or go up a dress size. You want to fit into, you want to look good in whatever stuff you've just bought. You could be buying like a muscle top. You could be buying, a nice new dress. You could buy new underwear. You could be buying anything, and you want to look good in it. And that is, that does come down to body image as well. But you want to look good in it. You can do all these things, and you don't have to go, okay, I'm going to just starve myself, because that's not healthy either.
No. In some ways, starving actually puts more weight on you because you bloat.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with that, you just moderation. I think is key. I think if you
Yeah.
exercise for 4 hours a day every day, you're not going to really gain much from that. Moderation is key. You need to have rest. that's also a decent part of making sure that you're healthy and that you look good.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure that if you become obsessed with how you look as well, that's also quite negative, I would say. If you become
Yeah.
obsessed with looking a certain way, then it's negative. Not everyone's going to be Arnie. Not everyone's
No.
going to be 6'6", jacked, really tan. You know,
We can't all be Chris Hemsworth.
we can't all. Yeah, exactly. We can't all be Chris Hemsworth. A lot of work has went into them, and if you put the work in, and that is a lifestyle choice. Look at The Rock. The Rock gets up at 4 a.m. to start his day. Where he's at the gym twice a day. He eats like 10,000 calories or something like that a day.
His Hercules diet was insane.
Yeah, and you're going, how do people do that? It's just a mindset. I
Yeah,
have
he's pure motivation.
I have about 6 hours sleep a night. I spend my time doing uni work. I spend my time cooking and stuff like that there. Obviously, if you have a bit more money and you can get people to prepare meals for you, you don't have to spend the time cooking. Or if you do a fuck ton of meal prep, you know, you benefit there. But for a normal everyday person, you're not going to be able to you can't do that sort of lifestyle. Now,
Because it
tying,
leaves no space for anything else.
yeah, exactly. Social time is as important, I would say, as making sure that you look a certain way. And
Yeah.
both of these go into the main point that I said at the start of body image. So with body image, there's a lot of positive things that comes with body image and a lot of negative things that come with body image. Because with body image, it inspires some people. There's people out there who genuinely do have problems. They could genuinely be obese. It could be through childhood choices, like maybe that there's been a lazy parenting or whatever. It could be from grief. It could be from whatever reason under the sun. Because there's plenty of reasons that people get fat that isn't just they're lazy and they just eat shite food. Like
Like,
people,
perfect example. Like, remember Thor in Endgame? Like, literally?
yeah, exactly, grief. And people are very quick to jump on the bandwagon of we should punish these people who don't know how to diet. We should do this. We should do that. I say fuck that. Why should you punish people who are going through shit in their lives? You don't know what people have been through to get to the point that they're at. But
Yeah.
if there's people out there who have been through bad times, people who have had a loss in the family and that's caused them to, they're in grief. They eat, they eat, they eat. They go up, 30 kg, for example. They go up 40 kg. Do they deserve to suddenly be cut off from society? No. Do they deserve to be ridiculed for their size? No.
They need
But
support.
they need support, and it's those people who see the likes of. I don't know if you watched it, Dean, but there was I think it was like the Titan Games on Netflix. It's like the Rock's personal game show, reality show thing, and
I
it
don't know about that.
it featured it was like superhumans. They were all machines. Like the tasks they were doing, it's CrossFit on steroids. It was
Oh,
genuinely terrifying to watch some of the tasks they were doing. They were all mammoth people who could do extraordinary things. But they were all saying, like exercise helped them get over the loss of like a family member, or that they were doing this
yeah.
amount of exercise to honor their brother who passed away, or I'm doing it for my sister who has cancer, like things like that there, where normal people will give up and they're using someone else as an example for getting better, which I find that to be beautiful. I find that to be really nice. But I do have to touch on the negative side of body image. I do feel like Feel Good February does need to have happy stories, but you do need to have a bit of darkness, to say the light.
Yeah. Balance.
Body image isn't always positive. There's plenty of people on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook who will post things, and you've got the Instagram models who Photoshop their waists to be thinner but their butts to be bigger, who make sure they have like plastic in them so that they look perfect, so they don't have wrinkles, they don't have sag, they don't have cellulite. They're always perfectly tanned, but not too tanned, and it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
There is a same with men, but I'm going to use the example of women because I think it's a lot more extreme with women compared to men.
I mean, I would agree, but at the same time, I would say because it's more extreme with women, it's less noticeable.
It's less. I think with men it does pay a big effect. Um, if people do say that, oh well, it can't affect men that much because you don't see it as much, but it affects men the same, I suppose. But with women, look at Kim Kardashian or look at any of the Kardashians. Really,
Yeah.
it's unrealistic for most women. Look at all these people who were on Love Island or whatever other show what's similar. They're getting endorsement deals. They look amazing in the outfits that they sell. But then ordinary girls were ordering them and then going, I don't look like this, and they're blaming themselves instead of going, okay, it's okay to be different. It is okay to be unique, to be myself.
Yeah, it's really got into society's heads. It's like of young girls are like, I have to be a way, or I have to fit this size. My eyelashes have to look this way, or my makeup has to be this perfect. And it's like you can't be yourself. You're not just because you don't look like the somebody that's famous celebrity
I
doesn't
think
mean you don't look good.
I think another thing as well is again sticking with women compared to men. Men, there is some unrealistic expectations of men. I'm kind of glad the whole dad bod man thing has kind of taken over in the past couple of years because people are like, oh, that's actually like attractive because that's achievable, which I do find very underhanded. But not everyone's got to look like Zac Efron.
You
But
can't look like Seth Rogen.
yeah, exactly. Like more people look like Seth Rogen than Zac Efron. Like that's a very good point. But I find something that really bugs me, and again, this is to do with women's fashion actually, is sizes. Now, I'm a male who is over 6 foot. I'm very skinny, as I've said. I fit into a men's medium in shirt sizes. So all of my t-shirts and shirts and jumpers and whatever are a men's size medium. So all of those fit me well. If I want something to be really snug, I could buy a men's small, but then it doesn't really fit the arms. If I want something to be quite baggy, I would buy a men's large. So for that sort of example. If a girl orders a size 8 on one website, that might fit her. She orders one on another website, that might not. Different websites have different sizes, which they say are the same size and they're really not, which I think also drives this problem because
Yeah,
if you order size 6 from one site and that fits you, you're going, wow, I'm really skinny. And then you order a size 6 from another website and you're like bursting out of it. You're gonna have really shit thoughts about your body. You're gonna think I need to do
yeah,
this, I need to do that. That's how mental disorders such as anorexia and bulimia come into effect. Which
yeah,
I used to suffer from anorexia. Anorexia is an eating disorder, but it is as much mental as it is physical because you tell yourself that you're
yeah,
fat, you tell yourself that you don't deserve to eat, you tell yourself all these things, and it is very much a mental health problem, and it's completely unreasonable in most cases as well. People who are not fat or people who aren't even people who maybe have a bit of baby fat, for example, who are a normal weight, maybe their cheeks are a bit chubby or maybe they have a bit of a roll. Like when I say a roll, as in like they have a teensy bit of like chub and you can squeeze it potentially, and then they stare at themselves until they look like a walking skeleton. That's not right.
that's the extremes.
That is extremes. But it's not all doom and gloom because, as I've said, there is plenty of positive examples out there of people who have went out, they've put the effort in, but they've also looked after themselves mentally as well by not forcing themselves to do outrageous things. Do I say you need to have like 2 hours of sleep every night and go out to the gym at 4 in the morning and you need to make sure you're making your meals fresh from vegetables? No. If you want to sleep for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, you get the sleep that you need for your body. I need 6 hours of sleep a night, so I sleep for 6 hours a night. If I feel especially tired, I'll sleep for more. If I don't feel like I need any more sleep, I'll sleep for less. Like it's tit for tat. Just listen to your body and what it
Yeah,
needs. But if you think I can get up earlier than what I currently do, inspire yourself to get up. It doesn't necessarily have to be you go to the gym, or it doesn't necessarily have to be that you go out for a walk. Do push ups in your room, do sit ups in your room, do stair jumps, do burpees, do whatever you can find to kind of inspire yourself. Get yourself up early, do a bit of exercise, have a shower, have your breakfast, or have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Just whatever helps you. Because, as Dean said, he was on a bike, and yes, he feels sore the next day, and his legs and his bum are a bit sore. But he feels better for it mentally because you get that good
yeah.
feel good hormone, and you're going, yeah,
The
that's right.
endorphins are great. The
Yeah.
gym high is great.
And in terms of diet, you can easily make great tasting food that is better for you than you order from your local Chinese takeaway, or you order a
Oh,
pizza.
100%.
And I made the other day burritos for me and my girlfriend.
Ooh.
We followed a recipe online. We adapted it because it used corn originally. We used chicken. It was peri peri. We made our own peri peri chicken. We made our own spicy rice. We didn't. We went and bought tortillas because we weren't going to make tortillas from scratch. But you don't have to make everything from scratch. For that recipe, you could buy pre-seasoned chicken. You could buy pre-seasoned rice. You could buy the tortillas. You could build it. It's still going to be better for you than going out and potentially buying it from a restaurant that actually specializes in it. And it's probably going to be cheaper as well in the long run.
Yeah, pound for pound, it's generally cheaper to make your own things
Yeah.
every time. I I think we need to talk about like the men half of things because, like as I said, I don't think men get enough of a look at it because
Yeah. Okay.
men
Yeah.
are seen as like I think like the stereotype is men generally don't care. Like men just live their lives, hold my beer, bro, kind of thing. You know, it's like
Yeah. No.
yeah,
I think you're right. I suppose I'd be quite blasé about it because I think you're right. To me, I don't look at a picture of Chris Hemsworth. I've used him as an example,
yeah,
or and think, wow, like I need to look like that, or I'm going to hurt myself. I kind of look in the
yeah,
mirror and see someone that I mean I'm trying to gain weight, but I don't look in the mirror every day and go, "You're a piece of shit" anymore. Uh,
that's
so
good.
it's it's I think, but you are right. There is this whole conception where if men are unhappy with it, or it's just deal with it,
Yeah,
and
it's and it's like I don't generally like looking in the mirror because I've got terrible body image issues and I generally don't like how my face looks. That's just my horrible self image of myself from a
and
huge bully.
I think what is nice in some cases and it's not nice. Like I know with Valentine's coming up, I've been looking at underwear for my girlfriend because that's just a
Yes.
cute thing that you get for Valentine's Day. And now they're starting to show, like, you can now see the underwear in different models. So there's like plus size models, there's models of different skin color, which I think's very, very, very nice because
Yeah.
it's good representation. Whereas on the flip side, we were looking at men's underwear just to see, like the prices and stuff like that there. And all of the men's underwear models are tall, quite handsome men who have six
Muscular.
packs and are very
Yep.
muscular. And, they look perfect. And I'm like, yeah, this is slightly unrealistic because, you know, it's a whole sex sale sort of thing. But
Yeah.
people like to think that you wear these underwear and that's how sexy you're gonna look. And I think that is very negative as a whole. Like, I'm not saying that you advertise Calvin Klein's, sorry, with like the biggest, football fan that never shaves his chest and his beer belly spilling over. But I
Yeah.
think you do need to show some representation of different people of different builds so that you can people who are that stereotypical male Adonis who aren't
Yeah.
perfect. They have someone
I
to look up to and they can kind of go, okay, yeah, this is realistic. I would look good in these.
I think there is somewhat of a decent role model that you could see is like Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
Did you ever see him in his Parks and Rec days?
yes, I did.
He had a very similar body to himself. I'm not going to lie about that.
And
And like,
he went through an amazing body transformation.
yeah, he looked outstanding in Guardians of the Galaxy.
And
And like,
from then onwards, he has gotten roles that have benefited from having a strong character. Jurassic
yeah,
World is an example. Obviously, the rest of the Guardians franchise and the Avengers movies,
yeah,
he's done quite well for himself because of his body transformation. But
he
I've
kept the personality.
he's kept his personality across, and I mean, there's always this joke where people lose weight and become a bit of a dick because suddenly they're now skinny, and I don't think that was the case with Chris Pratt. Like I think he kept his personality similarly the same. And there's always what I hate in the media as well is whenever a woman goes from being fat to skinny, there's no real comments made like, "Oh my God, look at her! She's had such an amazing transformation. She's gorgeous." Blah 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 blah. whenever a man goes through a similar thing, it's like, oh well, we found that we laugh with him when he was fat because we found it like pity laughing. Now he's just a bit of a dick, and I'm like, well, you can't say things like that. Like, he's not being judgmental. He's not being preachy. He's telling you that if you do the exercise and the diligence and you push yourself to your limit, that's how you end up looking like he does.
Yeah,
Because if you just did exercise and diet, like we have said, and you wanted to lose weight, you would lose weight. If you want to look shredded, you need to put in a fuck ton of work.
yeah. You need proper gym time.
Yeah, that's that's where you're taking the protein, you're taking the pre-workout, you're taking the amino acids and anything you can get your hands on to maximize the growth that you're going to have. If you're doing normal exercise, you are going to lose weight because you're boosting your calorific output, and if you're obviously restricting your input, if your input is lower than your output, then you're always going to lose weight. Same in inverse. If you gain more than you lose, you're going to gain weight. That's just basic science.
Yeah. Eat less, move more. Basic equation for fitness.
Yes.